for me, it is that hope. As I say, when I was given my diagnosis, I honestly thought that was the beginning of the end. You know, I come out of that meeting with a consultant thinking my life was over, really. You know, all I could see was sort of end stage of dementia. I can honestly say that within half an hour, been in my first peer support meeting, you know, I was with people who had been diagnosed a considerable length of time, who were still, you know, they still were very involved. They still were, you know, their opinions were still valued. You know, they were still able to do things. They were still laughing, which it seems trivial, but, you know, for me, that was a big thing, you know, that people, you know, following a diagnosis could actually still find something to laugh about. I think everybody who is given a dementia diagnosis should be given a telephone number or a contact of somebody who has a diagnosis that they can go to and sort of say that I can still live as best as I can with this condition.
It gives the opportunity for genuine empathy, because whilst so many people can show some kind of sense of understanding and some sympathy and indeed some empathy, what you get with peer support and peer interactions is genuine empathy, because those people are wearing the same shoes. I think also it's a really good illustration of role modeling. And I mean that in its fullest sense, because I can think of some people with dementia who are very challenging and very difficult people. But in some senses, I learn from them as well. And I reflect back upon myself by talking with people with dementia. And I learn an awful lot from them, both about their condition, but also about my own and about life generally. I think it's incredibly important.
Well, Alison and Keith have quite covered it very well, haven't they, really? I totally agree with what they've said. I think there's nothing like having somebody that you can talk to that understands, that you haven't got to explain yourself at great length to, because you're already coming from a similar place. And it does inspire and give you hope to pick yourself up. Well, I relate it to my music playing. Yes, I can practice away merrily on my own, but there's nothing like coming together with other people, and that's what pushes you on. The going to the rehearsals and the practices, because that's what brings you all together. And I think the same thing happens when you go along to a peer group. Then it lifts you straight up, because sometimes it's difficult to start the conversation, but once you're into it, and as Allison said, once you start laughing and chuckling, and you can get away from all that doom and gloom that you can have by sitting at home. And so I think it's essential that people can have that peer support to lift them up and have somebody that's empathizing with them. And it's such a shame when you see peer groups disappear, because you think, well, yes, you can ring somebody up on the telephone. Yes, you can have a video meeting with them. And it's not the same as sitting down and having a cup of coffee and a biscuit and a yak. You know, those things are so important.
Thinking back to the early days, particularly, but still the case now, 11 years into this, but certainly the first 2 or 3 years, what peer support did for me was, it was great for signposting as well, finding stuff out, because we talked about the leaflets and they do perform a task, but there's nothing better than hearing it from people who are living the experience as well, who can say, well, there's this there, or there's this there. And by talking things through that are available to you, I thought that was incredibly important.
It's when you've met a challenge and then you're just chatting along and somebody else comes up with an answer to that challenge. They haven't sat there and said, well, we'll think about this now. They just say what's happening in their life, and you suddenly think, hey ho, well, why don't I grab hold of that? That's the direction for me to go. Whereas if you're told, well, go to this, or we'll look at that, or is this leaflet, you go, yeah, okay, but it's a print on a piece of paper, which is nothing like speaking to somebody, is it? It's nothing like it.